Welcome to Bloodbath TV. Today we checked out The Ugly, and it's not a pretty picture.
People pick on me.
People pick on me. I don't slice them ear to ear.
I'm sure most of you have heard of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, where we get into the mind of serial killers. We like that kind of stuff. That's why Netflix even exists in the first place, right? Just crime docs.
That's how A&E has survived for many years.
So when this was recommended by Cool Fire Newt over on Patreon, we were like, hey, this seems interesting. It's like an interrogation room. We're doing some Mindhunter type stuff, and we're getting to the bottom of why he murdered a bunch of people. So thank you, Cool Fire Newt, for the recommendation. If you want to support the channel, go to our Patreon. Link is in the description. But we are going to spoil everything in this movie. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We're doing a deep dive like Dr. Karen did with Simon here. Poor little Simon. Not so poor little Simon. He's a murderer, and you shouldn't like him.
How can I trust you, Simon? You said it yourself. You enjoy killing.
And yet, here we are. Leave it to the movies to make you want to cheer for the bad guy. It just so happened this film made every other character seem more like an asshole.
Sit tight, freak.
So you go into this mental facility or asylum. We don't actually know what this building is. It seems to only have one patient. It's got one head doctor guy who is dressed like he's doing Hamlet in the park.
But in this business of show, you have to have the heart of an angel and the hide of an elephant.
And then the two orderlies are straight out of Arkham Asylum, like actual inmates that broke out. One of them looks like an unpainted Shaggy 2-Dope from Insane Clown Posse, and the other guy is just weird.
He secretly had a crush on him. He did mouth like a I love you, blew some kisses.
No, it was Elephant Shoe.
But you have extra sensitive hearing. Hear this. I'm telling. I said vacuum!
But Simon is coming up for trial, so he requests a doctor comes in and reevaluates him. I don't know why he thought he'd get a different reevaluation after him like being completely wild and killing a bunch of people and seeing visitors, so to speak, which are ink-spilling ring girls all over the place. So Karen comes in and she's gonna do a full-blown evaluation on him and try and get into his head. So they basically sit at a table for the whole movie, and it's a series of flashbacks and piecing together what made him a serial killer and just like walking through some of his crimes. How it's done is actually really cool. I liked some of the editing. Most of it is absolutely god-awful, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But when they do a flashback, you might see Karen sitting beside him really quickly. Like, I think that one of the first ones is we're at a bar, and you can see the orderlies sitting at the bar, and you're like, wait a second, what the hell are these guys doing? And it's just so smooth. And you'll see like him as a child and then him as an adult like walking right beside him and stuff like that. It's like, well done.
It made you kind of understand that they're visualizing what he's telling.
What happened when they chased you?
But at the same time, then it gets really confusing when they have dream sequences. Because our psychiatrist, Karen, she's the one who's having these visions of him attacking her, yet it's from his perspective at the same time, so it's like he could be imagining what he's gonna do to her. So it's a lot of confusion happening all at once.
Straight up, this is one of the more difficult watches just based on how it's told from a visual standpoint. Like, it's hard to watch because of like the camera moving around, and plus how the story is delivered. Like, I can understand if people absolutely love this movie. It's interesting, it's told in a unique way, but you tie in the convoluted story, which would have been cool if it was presented normally. But if you shook the camera all over the place, you started rack focusing.
Stop pushing me!
Talk to me! Simon! Why did you do them?
And it was just hard to watch and be invested in also because, like we said, you shouldn't be rooting for Simon. He has murdered countless people. Why should we want him to get out of here, right? Like, Karen is the only likable person in this movie.
I am trying to help him.
He's leading you on a wild goose chase.
And Marge, yeah,
With her 3D glasses.
who maybe is the only other patient in this whole place.
Or lover of the doctor.
We're not sure because the ending is fucking brutal.
The problem is, we're trying to not relate, we're trying to understand what's going through Simon's head. We get this sympathy for him because early on we see, okay, he's got an abusive mother, his father is a good guy, but left his mother, so mother's mad.
He's evil. He's a devil, do you hear me?
Mother is like a light switch on and off when it comes to like being loving her son or hating her son. You got Julie, who is like the love interest, and you're like, okay, Simon gets beat up by the dweebiest of bullies.
Hey, Simple Simon.
Like, you sound like a bully saying that, John. You're picking on some fucking 10-year-olds.
The kid looks like Malfoy. Nobody takes him serious in Harry Potter.
That's true, and I would call him dweeby.
So you build that sympathy for Simon. You're like, okay, he's had a rough go. I could totally get why he wants to kill certain people.
But still, don't kill people.
Simon Cartwright.
Fast forward, whatever, like 10 years later, we don't know how much time has really passed. Him and Julie meet up out of coincidence.
It's me, Julie.
Then he like has huge feelings for Julie. Loves her. Sees her awkwardly kiss her brother. Like, we learn that this is brother afterwards.
Yeah, don't kiss relatives on the mouth in public or in private. I think, yeah, okay.
I think, like, come on, this isn't Family Strokes. He's like, well, now I gotta kill this guy because, like, my heart is broken. Because the only way I know how to feel good is to kill the people that break my heart, which makes him a serial killer.
So why is this movie positioned in such a way that we should like this guy and hope for his release?
Because, like, we're doing the thing where she is the psychiatrist. So Karen, our psychiatrist, got a guy off. Frida, man. She's like the lawyer that defends the bad guys.
I've been treating him for 6 years. If you think you can stroll in here...
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but your patient has requested this, and he requested me.
We can understand some motives, and then they really focus on the random killings, but like only as like quick cuts and not going more into detail. That's where we should understand better as to like what his motives really are. I don't need this backstory told again that he was bullied and had to kill people, but what I was more interested in is the bar scene when the girl sat down and said,
We were just wondering if you were that guy off that TV show.
was he like in the news for a serial killer?
Yeah,
Or was he on
he
a team?
was.
So then that girl at the bar
Love serial killers.
deserves what she gets.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree that anybody should die.
No. Okay, if you're going to a bar to pick up a serial killer who's known for killing the people he loves, you shouldn't be surprised if he kills you.
Just don't fall in love. Fuck with no feelings. That's it.
Fugitive sex!
I mean, I don't think you should fuck serial killers willingly or against your will. I don't think that should happen in general. Don't go near serial killers.
Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn.
Don't have a thing with serial killers.
Of course, it all makes perfect sense now.
I'll never understand clamoring for serial killers. I know some people that watch our videos are like, I love this serial killer. I love Ted Bundy because what a hunk. It's Zac Efron. And aside from Carla Homolka or Casey Anthony, if you start just chatting up these Orlando Bloom looking motherfucking killers, you might get killed. He's not what he looks like.
So he is what he looks like. Maybe not in this one, because that was another weird aspect, was the reflection of him being the ugly duckling.
That's how he felt on the inside, but we're also not sure of that.
Again, there's a lot of things where they show stuff and we don't know if we're supposed to take it as fact or just like an interpretation.
I don't even know if people died because the blood was black. So was he letting out the ugly, so to speak? Like, he called him the ugly because his mom called him ugly. He had an ugly duckling book because he couldn't really read.
Baby's book.
And it was ripped in half and he had a little paper that just said the ugly. And I can't tell if all of this was actually in his head or not, because it seemed like he was pulling a usual suspects by picking things up from the background and starting to talk about just stuff. Like when he said,
The visitors.
it's like, oh yeah, all these people around. After just looking at this visitor badge, seems suspect to me. Shout out to Kaiser Soze. So the ending of this movie is not good. Basically, we have a couple fake outs, or we're not sure. It could be dreams, it could not be, where Simon has escaped from the asylum and goes to Dr. Karen's house and cuts her throat. Whether it's real or not, we don't know. Like I had mentioned with like, they have black tar coming out of their bodies instead of blood. This one like kind of changes to red to signify that maybe Karen was just the next person to actually die, but it's strange. And the doctor just holds Marge for some reason. It's just weird. You don't know. It's up to interpretation. The ending is just not great.
One of our patients has gone.
Overall, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's an okay concept, just done poorly. I think the story is a cool idea, but it's all over the place. And some of the edits, like I did like the editing of the transitions and incorporating future and past people in the same kind of space is really neat. But the movie as a whole is just too poorly cut to enjoy. So I'm gonna give this 2 Horkin beans out of 5.
I really didn't have a good time watching this film. I wanted to like it because I was intrigued, but the issue here is you feel sympathy for Simon because they established he was bullied and the people he was killing were a reaction to that. But then you don't feel sympathy for him because he's killing random people as well. Go more into those details. Don't give us 40 minutes of Simon getting smacked by his mom. We get it. Why he's killing a bride running in the street? I want to know more about that.
You did it because you liked killing. The families of the people you killed aren't going to accept that. And neither am I!
It had potential, but it was a bit of a letdown. So that being said, I'm gonna give this film 1.5 ghostly glasses out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Bloodbath TV.